us for other webinars, of course. In case you've joined us for other webinars before, we are happy to see you here once again to learn and relearn. My name is Dominic. I am part of the team at Sustainable Travel and Tourism Africa. Today we are learning about navigating sustainability in a group setting. And we are better placed. Our guests today have a wealth of knowledge and experience in this space, so we are very eager to learn. Just to set some basic guidelines so that we can optimize on the little time that we have, kindly don't unmute yourself until the tail end of this webinar. We are going to have a Q&A session. We'll have a session to ask any other question that you might have or clarification, just in case you have one. Yeah, just basic rules to make sure that we optimize on the time that we have in this webinar. Anyway, in case you'd like to share what you've learned in this webinar, you can use hashtag STTA webinar series on all social media platforms and tag us at STTA Kenya. You can also tag London Life Foundation, also Elewana Collection, as well as Sopa Lodges as well. We are here to learn from them and what they are doing in this space. Just in case anyone would have wanted to join the webinar, but they didn't find time to join the webinar, you can always direct them to our YouTube channel. That's where we have our recordings throughout last year and this year. So in case you've missed out on any, please check out our YouTube channel. All the recordings will be there. Anyway, without going further into the details, I'm going to invite the host of this webinar, our team lead, Judy, to continue from there. Asante sana. Judy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar number 8 of 2025. As usual, we are always excited to host these webinars because they are learning platforms. So if you're here, you know the drill. We expect that at the end of this, you have picked a lesson that you can implement in your company, in your organizations, that you also become more equipped on matters of sustainability. It's one of the platforms that we use for knowledge sharing. As an organization, knowledge sharing is very important for us. And we have come to appreciate that when it comes to sustainability, we don't stop learning. There's always something new that is emerging, and there is always research. There are always perspectives. Personally, I like to interrogate sustainability a lot. I question, I unlearn, I relearn, and I'm always looking at the ultimate. Unfortunately, I've come to realize and learn that wherever a company is in its sustainability journey, it can always go further. You cannot say that I have reached the apex. So even when you see companies talk about their sustainability journeys, we can comment and add value, but I don't judge them because I know it's a process. You can't get everything. You can't be 100% all the time and everything, because when you think you've gotten there's something new that has emerged. I just had a discussion in my very latest trip, from which I returned yesterday, on a new term that has emerged. And there is actually, I came back home with a book written on what is now called community ship, right? You know, community and ship, community ship. You know, the way we have partnerships, right? That there is now something called community ship. And I had an opportunity to discuss community ship with a few people in this forum that I was invited to speak about community tourism. And I learned that the person or was deeply concerned that the generic term partnership can be used without impacting communities. And when there is no deliberate intention to work with community, then it can be a partnership, but it cannot be communityship. And that communityship requires another level of commitment, another level of investment. So even as we listen to I'm so excited for my co-hosts today, Nabila and Shalini from Land and Life Foundation. They are people that I know we have had conversations with. We've followed their work. We know the work that they're doing. We know the commitment that they have. We know the investment that they've made. But today we're just excited that they're going to help us to understand how to navigate sustainability in a group lodge setting, because there are risks that are involved with this. In my work, part of what I do is sustainability assessments. And I have done group sustainability assessments. And I know that it is not easy sometimes to run sustainability across a group of lodges. There are many things that come into play. Some of you already had me talk before we started this. There are many, many things that come into play for a company to end up being aligned. There is a lot of effort and investment that has been made. So I will share very quickly. You probably have seen my slides. Some of the things that I have learned in my assessments of groups of lodges, and what I call now the pillars that drive sustainability in a group of lodges. These are from lessons that I have learned while doing assessments in groups of lodges. Number one is that it works when the policies are aligned. And somebody would say and ask, isn't this obvious that the policies will be aligned? What I learned is that sometimes a group can grow so large that they are loosely connected by the values of the company. But as managers change, because managers come and go, they stay, but they also come and go. As managers change in individual units, you realize that sometimes some of them drop the ball. They work with what they like and they drop what they don't like. And they do it, some of them do it because it is a company requirement, but they're not invested in it. So when I talk about aligned policies, I'm also talking about regular reminders of those in the different units of the lodges at different levels, with a structure where we know that in one of the group of lodges that I have assessed, is that they realize this challenge when I first highlighted it to them in 2023. And in 2025, they have now come up with a calendar where they are going to have annual managers and operational managers meetings, where they will make sure that everyone is aligned and knows what the policies are. And the sustainability department, if there's any new policies, instead of having just sent them via email and say, this is what we are now doing, there will be an opportunity to work together to integrate, to understand, so that everybody knows what the implementation KPIs are. And that brings me to my point number two. One of the other pillars that I have learned is that setting measurable targets across the group is very important. So if the measurable targets is that we want our water usage per guest per day across the group to be this much, right? So every manager at unit level, as they are documenting, they are not documenting to send the information to the regional office or to the head office to put into the dashboard, but they are documenting because they are working towards a group target. And I was excited in one of the groups because I was able to see a dashboard that says that this lodge uses the most amount of energy per guest per day, and they have received a notification that they have to cut this by 50% by this time. This one generates the most amount of food waste, and now they have been notified about their food waste, and the chefs have been taken through training. This one generates is not managing very well its organic waste and all those kind of stuff. This one. So when measurable targets are set across a group or a chain, you find that it is easy to follow each and every unit and make them accountable, because at the end of the day, when the group measures, they say we have a shortfall in our target for this much, and that shortfall for our target has been contributed by Lodge A, Lodge B, and Lodge C, right? And then number 3 is verified action at property level. What do I mean by verified action? I mean that there is a system that documents the areas of impact that have been identified in the group strategy that are being tracked, that there's a system for that documentation, and that information can be verified. Yeah, actions that are being taken at unit level can be verified because there is a dashboard, there is a system, there is whatever you want to call it, that enables everyone to collect information and account for it. And also that it is not just one person, right? But there is a checking system within even the unit where the overall the lodge manager or the group manager at that unit or operations manager is able to verify that today actually water readings were taken, because what you find out is that somebody has been assigned to take water readings. If it's not automated, there is technology today. You can automate those kind of stuff, and you don't need human intervention. Where you still need human intervention, you have to verify that that person did not sit in their offices and just enter records like yesterday +1 or -10. So verified action at property level really helps with sustainability at lodge level. Then you to have engaged and equipped staff. Equipped, which means they understand what is going on, what needs to be done, what is their responsibility, and how can they contribute to the overall sustainability agenda of the organization. Then when I say engaged, it means that they know exactly what their role is. They know what they're supposed to do when it comes to waste management. And it is not about some staff, it is about all staff engaged and equipped. That is a key driver for sustainability across groups. And what I found out is a best practice for this, engaging and equipping staff. Of course, there is a regular training of staff, but there is the induction. When staff are recruited, there is an induction on sustainability as well as other things on quality of service and all those other things. There is a thorough induction on sustainability, and their role in sustainability is included in their job description. I found that for the first time. That's one way to engage staff and make them accountable. There is a statement within their job descriptions that talks about sustainability. And that for me was a valuable practice on how to engage your staff. It's not just to tell them we're going for an event here and today we are doing this and we have to measure this, but they have to know and they have to be able to tell very well what their role is going to be and how they're going to contribute. For example, they will be able to account when they are being evaluated by their superior at the end of the year or anytime when an evaluation is being done. They will give an account of how they have contributed to the company's sustainability values. The other pillar is aligned business partners. Aligned business partners, which means your partners know, understand, and respect your values, and they work with you along those values. And now this alignment can happen in many ways. You can align your business partners by sharing with them what your written values. You can align your business partners by inviting them to your events. You can align your business partners if you really believe they don't know and they're struggling. You can decide that we are going to pay for 3 of our business partners to attend this seminar or to attend this training and conference so that they can get started with sustainability so that it makes it easy for us to work together. There are also exchange protocols and covenants with partners so that they understand what you're doing. But most valuable practice for me is that when you have your partners aligned, is that every so often in a forum that your company has described, they should bring their partners together, their business partners, yeah, not necessarily physically, even virtually, every so often, and talk to them about where they are at with their sustainability journey. Remind them of their values, remind their partners of their targets. You know why we are asking you to pack things not in plastic, because we have a target to eliminate plastic from our operations by 2030. So when we tell you that we want as few of our supplies as possible wrapped up in single-use plastics, you are helping us to do this. And when you do that, our contribution, yeah, to the global economy is this, this, and that, because we are reducing pollution in our waters, in our lakes, we're reducing land pollution from plastic. So we educate our business partners and have them aligned. We also need, as a driving pillar for in a group, an investment sustainability investment strategy. I did find that many organizations have good plans. They want to say we have done our baselines, or we have baselines. This is what we want to change our power. We want to do this. But when you look at the investment strategy for sustainability, it's not there. There's an investment strategy for marketing. There's an investment strategy for product development. But there's no strategy specifically for sustainability, for retrofitting things, for doing, and that budgets have been allocated and resources, not just budgets, all the resources. And there's a plan that says that by this time, this will be in place, that will be in place, that will be in place. Most times you find the sustainability strategy, sometimes they happen when there is an incident, and the organization is forced then to remember that, yeah, we were going to do this, and they move on and do that. Then the last one is stakeholder mapping. Who is your critical stakeholder? Who would contribute? Whose actions would affect you significantly in terms of your sustainability journey? Who are they? How have you brought them on board? What is it that they're doing? What can you do with them, right? How can you align them as well? So not knowing your stakeholders puts you at a higher risk. And your stakeholders, if you're in a group setting, you know your communities in Lodge A, you know your communities in Lodge B, you know the critical partners in Lodge C, you know. So your stakeholders map in a group setting can be very complex, but you still have to do it because it's one of the pillars that drives sustainability. As I finish and invite my co-hosts to make their presentation, I will not dwell on these common pitfalls that I have come across also in group sustainability settings, things like lack of minimum operational standards across properties, lack of property level baseline metrics, which means we started without taking baselines, knowing who is where at any given time, who is where, what is the status of Lodge A in terms of energy consumption, water consumption, waste generation, community management, carbon, what is the status in terms of types of transport. So lack of property level baselines can affect the tracking of what each unit is doing. And if we have just group level baselines and not constantly track property level metrics, we can miss it in between and end up with a bit of greenwashing. And then there is unclear implementation timelines. I've just spoken about that in terms of investment strategy. It's never clear what is going to be done where, at what time, right? It is noted and documented what should be done, but implementation timelines are never clear. Capital allocations aligned with required changes. Another pitfall is that there is adoption of sustainability terms that are not defined at property level. So companies talking about a net zero, and then I ask a Lodge X, what does net zero mean for you in Lodge X? And like, go and ask the head office, right? So there is terminology that is adopted, but it's not defined at property level. And so it remains a macro action and strategy and not aligned with the properties. And then lastly, there is weak sustainability governance systems, the relationships of who is doing what. In the case of so far, I think Land and Life is in charge of this. In companies that don't have a system like that, it becomes very, very unclear, even at directors level, where there is no director of sustainability, there is no sustainability manager. Sometimes the sustainability manager is the maintenance person in a lodge. Sometimes the sustainability manager is the assistant manager of the lodge. Sometimes the sustainability manager. So it's never clear. The governance systems can actually affect how companies operate. Thank you very much for listening to me and my experiences at group level sustainability. This sets the stage for our discussion now, and I would like now to invite my co-host for today. Um, uh, Nabila, you can share your screen and you can talk to us as they talk to us. Are you there? Can you hear me?
We're here. We are sharing our screen. Thank you very much, Judy. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And thank you, Judy and STTA for, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Nabila. I work with a group of companies. We are can you guys see our slides? Yeah, I think you can see them. Okay, great. So we're a family-founded collection of brands in East Africa, and our journey is defined by commitment to sustainable travel, community empowerment, and wildlife preservation. Our group involves different brands, all in the hospitality sector, but working in different spaces, if you like. So Sopa Lodges is where we started, and that is big lodges, the traditional lodge style, with 80 to 100 rooms each. And then we have the Eliwana collection, which is where there's between 4, 8, 12, 15 rooms. So the needs are very different there. It's our B2B. We have Sky Safari, which is our private aviation arm, and we do private air safaris. And then Land and Life, which is the umbrella organization, the umbrella sustainability arm, if you like, for all these companies. This is just a little bit of a where we started. We started in the late 70s, early 80s with our first Sopa Lodge. And we have come a long way since then. And we're now sitting with 23 properties across Kenya and Tanzania in that group that I mentioned between Sopa, Eliwana, and Explorer. And so from very kind of humble beginnings, we've grown and we've learned a lot. So basically, Land and Life, if I can just introduce us, we are the sustainability arm of that group of companies. And we are trying to foster a culture where sustainability is the heart of everything we do. We'll come to some of the challenges we face with 23 properties in a very different setting. But Land and Life, the purpose is to drive positive environmental and social change across all our operations, whether it's at the lodge level, which is where most of our operations are, but also our head office levels, our supply chain, our central stores, and all the rest of it. We have 3 key strategic pillars: people, partnerships, and planet. And everything we do falls under one of those strategic pillars. We were established in 2011, first as a trust and then as a foundation. Initially, primarily focusing on corporate social responsibility, when sustainability wasn't really, it was there, but it was kind of done in an organic way. It wasn't a purposeful kind of strategy that people adopted. When we had the pandemic, it presented an opportunity for us to redefine our strategy, redefine our purpose. Why were we there? What were we trying to achieve? And so we transitioned from sort of a charitable arm to a sustainability arm for the entire family of brands, which I mentioned was 23 properties. We have 2 more opening in Rwanda in the next couple of years as well. And a key component of what we do, a key component of our philosophy and ethos is we do not ask donors, whether we're working with communities, whether we're looking at our lodge operations, whatever we're doing, whether we're doing anything in the wildlife conservation space, we do not ask any of our donors for money to run our operations. Our group covers 100% of Land and Life's operational costs. So any donations we receive goes directly into community conservation projects. And under those 3 kind of people, partnerships, planet, we do the type of work that is we see a lot in all our partners, whether it's school feeding programs, whether it's scholarship programs, community health programs. Under the planet piece, we've supported some of our partners to do relocation and integration of endangered species, like the black rhino in Loisaba. We do carbon footprint monitoring. We do tree planting. And under partnership, we work with different groups, whether it's schools, NGOs, corporates, and we look at how we can strengthen the impact of our work, because we understand that we can't do everything on our own. So under people, I don't want to spend too much time, but these are our key focus areas. It will create an economic impact. We support close to 2,500 direct that we anywhere on where which stats you look at, that has a trickle-down effect of X10 or X14 times in terms of the number of people that are impacted for that. We also invest heavily in school infrastructure, scholarships, teacher salaries. We trained last year 1,900 of our lodge staff in natural resource management and sustainability. And that doesn't include other training that happens with all the other departments, but particularly in natural resource management and sustainability, we trained upwards of 1,900 people. And in the community space, again, we do projects in menstrual health. We provide clean water, we provide medical care, and our programs in the last year has been our menstrual health program, as our economic and social empowerment program, where we're training in financial literacy and artisan skills development. We have a program called Shanga, which is our own in-house program, which I'll take you through the next couple of slides. Partnerships for us are critical. We support 23 properties in their whole sustainability strategy, but our team is really lean. We actually, apart from Shalini and myself that you see here, we have 2 other permanent staff. And our fundamental belief is that partnerships is what's going to amplify our impact. We cannot do this on our own. We don't have expertise to do everything on our own, and we don't actually want to do everything on our own. So I would say that collaborating is the way to go, and one of our key lessons. We have key partnerships and strategic alliances with the conservancies that we work with the counties that we work with. In Tanzania, they're called wildlife management areas. Those are really key to what we do. We have community equity partnerships as well. So for example, in the Mara and in Amboseli, the local communities are shareholders in SOPA lodges, allowing them to have a share of its financial success. That was how SOPA was set up. And we really believe those community partnerships are key to what we do. They help direct us, they help protect the environment, and they see the value of tourism in more ways than one. And collaborations, whether it's with people like STTA, whether it is ecotourism, we're always learning. Judy had mentioned very clearly some of the key things that are needed, and we're in a learning space. We constantly are learning from our peers, we are learning from our partners. We can't, every day is and as we were putting this presentation together, we were also actually learning. In terms of our sustainable supply chains, I think this was something that Judy was referring to as well. We work with our business partners. We work with, for example, with our recycling initiatives. We looked at all the recycling companies across Kenya and Tanzania. We identified ones that we think we aligned with in our values and our ethos. We work together to say, how can we help you? How can you help us? These are things we want to see when we're recycling. And the same with local sourcing. How do we make it more ethical? How do we support local employment around our properties? How do we reduce the environmental impact? Again, investment in women-led cooperatives and SMEs that create sustainable ecotourism products, adding value to the tourism supply chains while fostering empowerment and promoting long-term employment and environmental and economic benefits. We can't do this on our own. We have done this in a multitude of ways. So, for example, in all our retail spaces across the 23 properties, we ensure that up to 80–90% of our products are sourced locally, are sourced regionally, are sourced from organizations and small enterprises that are working in this space and that are promoting environmental and social benefits for their communities. I think it's really critical. We've spent a long time building these partnerships, whether it's externally, these are mostly talking about external, but internally as well. Kind of, I think a few years ago, sustainability was very much those green tree huggers on the side. But as we've moved along, as the conversation has emerged, as more climate change impacts are being felt, we're not in those, we're trying to break out of those silos. We work really closely across all our departments. You can imagine with a company the size of ours, we work with operations, we work with research, we work with projects, we work with marketing, we work with finance, we work with maintenance. It's so important to embed it in all your practices. And Shalini, as she takes the presentation forward, will take you through some of the things we've done. It's not only about visiting, it's not only about sending them documents, but it's about sharing that knowledge. So I think Judy said this, it's about everybody understanding what their role is. It's not about ticking a box and filling in a form, but how do we all move towards this goal that we've really tried to embed in every single department across our organization. I just want to share a little bit about Shanga, which is one of our success stories. This is, it became part of our group in 2017 as part of our commitment to supporting sustainable social enterprises and providing long-term stability. Shanga was started around a kitchen table in 2007. And as it grew organically and it had to move from place to place, it eventually ended up at our property, one of our Elawana properties, at Arusha Coffee Lodge. and it now is an open workshop and includes areas for glass blowing, weaving, sewing, painting, bead making. The unique thing about Shanga is that we now employ 67 people, from 2 people around a kitchen table, but 60% of these people are very marginalized. They're people living with disabilities. They're people that would find it very difficult to find dignified employment, and people that would have been ostracized, if you like, from their communities. We have built a family. We'll show you a short video later, but it's a really successful, fully sustainable model. We have more than 20% net profit margin generated annually, with all the profits being reinvested back into Land and Life, so that we can grow the business, so that we can employ more people, we can train more people, we can make an impact on more people. 18 tons of glass are recycled annually at Shanga, and this glass comes from all of our properties, as well as other properties in Arusha and other businesses as well, so construction companies and the likes of that. And we also recycle over 35,000 liters of waste oil every year, and this is used to power our furnaces for our glass blowing. The glass and the oil would have all ended up in landfill had we not been using it. And over the last 10 years, we've generated a total revenue of over $4 million. It's more than a workplace. It's a family, and it's given people opportunities to almost dictate their own futures. We'll show you a video later. I get a little emotional every time I talk about Shanga. I cry. I've seen this video 200 times, and I cry every single time. So I hope I can reduce some of you to tears as well. But I want to hand you over to Shalini, who'll take you through our planet discussions now. And yeah, just handing you over.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shalini, and I'm the Sustainability Manager at Land and Life, working closely with Nabila. All right. So in terms of planet, one of the advantages of working in a group setting is the opportunity to lease land. Sorry, one moment.
Just give us one.
I just want to check with everyone. Can you hear Shalini and Nabila well? Everyone, give me a thumbs up. If the sound is good, somebody give me a thumbs up. Okay, thank you, Sarah. Somebody else? All right. Okay. Yeah, sometimes we go on with webinars and people can't hear us, and we just continue. Thank you so much. Please proceed. Thank you, everyone, for giving me the thumbs up. Check my chat and let us engage and share our lessons even as we listen to the presentations. Also remember to ask your questions. Nabila, go ahead.
Sorry, we just had a bit of technical issues, but we're back. Can everyone hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So I was talking about our third pillar, which is planet, and explaining that as an advantage of working in a group is that we have the privilege, let's say the honor of being able to lease natural spaces. And that's not just for our properties, not just for any of our built areas. I'm talking about leasing extra spaces to ensure that we leave wildlife corridors open and these natural ecosystems untouched. In fact, so for us, in a year, I think we have over 7 hectares of land that we lease. 7,000, sorry, 7,000 hectares of land that we lease directly. But all of this actually contributes to over 2.2 hectares of land, because we work closely with our partners in conservancies and also in the county governments, and of course our national governments such as KWS. Nabila had mentioned earlier, so some of the activities that we do on wildlife protection. A key one was on reintroducing species that had been removed largely due to poaching, and I'm talking about in Loisaba. So last year we had a successful reintroduction of the black rhino into the area, and all of this, of course, was done with partners. And we successfully managed to do 21 northern black rhinos. And in fact, this year, this project is continuing now with white rhinos. I wouldn't repeat all the aspects that Nabila had mentioned about working with our partners in conservancies. I'll give you some more specific activities that we do in terms of from our operations. So since 2022, which we consider our baseline year, we've been very keen to monitor our carbon footprint. And along with our carbon footprint, as Judy was mentioning earlier, some of our other key metrics, and in terms of waste, energy, and also water. So we measure all of these keenly to ensure that we identify areas where we need to improve, identify areas where we need to reduce. And I'm happy to report, since our baseline year, 2022, we've actually managed to reduce our overall group's carbon footprint by 19%. Another key aspect when it comes to planet, and actually is related to partnerships, is working closely with partners such as STTA and Ecotourism Kenya, and in Tanzania we have Responsible Tourism Tanzania. They do come and audit us every couple of years and to check on our sustainability initiatives. So these are very key aspects to how we continuously improve on these aspects. So just to continue on how we actually navigate sustainability across our group setting is through what we have developed, known as an environmental and social management system. So in a nutshell, this ESMS, as we call it, is basically our group's charter and guide to upholding best practices in sustainability. And it ensures standardization across all of our units, be it in Kenya or in Tanzania. How it was developed was first understanding our group's purpose in terms of sustainability. And as a group, we're highly committed to ensure that we minimize or eliminate any environmental and social risks or impacts associated with our operations. And we developed this ESMS to be able to now, first of all, identify what are these impacts and risks that are being caused by us, and how do we manage them and mitigate them or even eliminate them, and then through which responsible and sustainable practices do we implement in order to achieve this. So some of the tools that we use to be able to identify our environmental and social risks, and this is across the entire group, we've developed an internal EMS assessment. EMS is our Environmental Management System Assessment, and it is a robust, sometimes the units of the properties give me grief because it's almost 15 pages long, but it's a robust checklist to ensure that we're maintaining best practices in terms of, for example, energy management, water, waste, workshops, fuels, chemicals, occupational safety and health, fire safety, all the way down to what community and conservation projects are implemented by the properties. So related to this, to be more specific, we also use our carbon footprint and sustainability metrics that I was talking about. These are data that are entered at unit levels. Basically, they're consumption data when it comes to fuels, generator run times, any what we call scope 3 emissions, for example, if they had any freight imported, if there was any official staff travel. So all of these are raw data that is inputted at a unit level, and it is shared on a cloud service that we use as Google Drive. And from there, we're able to analyze and assess each month our impact when it comes to our ecological footprint and our carbon footprint. And then The other way we identify all of our environmental and social risks is, again, through those eco-rating assessments, through our partners, and of course, also through our statutory assessments, such as the annual environmental audits, the annual OSH, the annual risk assessments. So from these identification of all these environmental and social risks, we have developed our sustainability management plan, which now also houses specific policies and plans to be able to manage or even eliminate these risks. So I'm sure across all the groups, everyone has their water, energy, and waste management policies and plans. We've tried to keep them very simple and specific to ours so that even the staff at the unit levels, it's quick read guidelines on how to manage these aspects. We had in the last year as well developed a climate action plan, which is based on all of our carbon footprint reporting. And thanks to STTA to introducing us to the Glasgow Declaration, we're also now a signatory to that. And then one of them also that is pretty unique is what is called our safari etiquette. So from this, we've developed guidelines for our staff, but also for our visitors in terms of etiquette, like a code of conduct when visiting communities, being respectful, and also when encountering wildlife or when on your game drives or on your nature walks, how do we respect the environment at the same time deliver extraordinary guest experiences? So over here, we just wanted to give, we were pretty like looking at what is actually the benefits, but also the challenges of working in a group setting. And we realized there's a bit of both. Of course, one of the challenges is, like Nabila was explaining in the introduction, we are 23 properties, but all of varying different nature. Some are luxury camps, some are 4-star lodges, some are 5-star lodges, but we also have our travel and tour operator. We have an air charter service, and as Nabila was mentioning, Shanga, which is our in-house social enterprise. So understanding all of their needs in terms of sustainability and finding the right fit that will still be standardized across the group is a bit of a challenge. But at the same time, when we do achieve aspects such as that, sorry, can you still see the screen?
Yes, I can see your screen, Shalini.
Okay. Is being able to tell a unique group impact story. So as a group, even if we have these varying diverse business models, the fact that our group has also the Land and Life Foundation to help unify all these business models in terms of sustainability practices. Yeah, as Judy was mentioning in the beginning, one of the challenges for sure is data collection and reporting, because we have several units across 2 countries, soon to be 3 countries. You know, ensuring that it is reliable data every time is a challenge. But but at the same time, sharing this knowledge across all the units is a learning opportunity. And, you know, we learn aspects such as, like Nabila was mentioning, the recycling from Shanga. That data, how that's collected, we share it across the other units as well. And it fosters a sense of pride across the entire group. Staff training and movement, of course, being a large group right now, we're at over 2,500 staff. But of course, you know, you instill the sustainability practices and motives in each, but, you know, there's always going to be an aspect of staff turnover. And so continuously having to do that is a bit of a challenge, but because you've already created that sense across the whole group, it's something that gets shared with each new staff that joins us. Some of the others, I mean, like costs for sure, and I think that's across anyone. Like if we were to identify major sustainability implementations, such as changing over from diesel generators to installing a solar plant, that's a significant cost. But one of the aspects that we look at over there is, before we jump to such significant costs, let's look at what we can achieve. And this is like to trainings, that when we go to the staff levels, a lot of it is to do with behavior change. Being able to be mindful of what energy you're consuming, being mindful of how much water you're using. And so those have almost minimal costs. The other aspect is what I'd say actually opportunity, and still on that cost aspect, even though that there are individual expensive costs like these solar plants or reverse osmosis systems, being part of a group actually gives you opportunity in terms of economies of scale, because we're able to now purchase in bulk for the entire group. So that actually gives us a better chance to be able to implement such costly measures. And then, of course, because we operate now across 3 countries, we do have the challenge in terms of community diversity. The needs are not the same across. So being able to identify those needs while still being able to deliver projects that have meaningful impact can only now be done through, again, those strong partnerships. Yeah, I think, and then one of the actual most important, I think, is in terms of being part of a group, is that all donations that we receive, 100% of each cent goes into those community and conservation projects, because we do have the benefit of our own operation costs being taken care of by our group. Okay, and then as we're actually doing this presentation, Nabila was mentioning we're learning ourselves, and it's true. Some of the key takeaways that we've learned about navigating sustainability in a group setting. One key one is our interdepartmental collaborations. We would not be able to do what we do if we didn't work as a team with all of the other departments, because you, as a sustainability arm, may be able to identify some issues or those environmental, social risks and impacts that need to be addressed, but solution doesn't necessarily lie with the sustainability department. The solution may lie with the repair and maintenance department, may lie in the operations department, or it may lie in the projects department, who are in charge of any new builds or renovations. So this, for us, is a crucial component of how we work. Strategic partnerships were mentioned critically, like STTA. We have the privilege of joining on your webinars, joining on your conferences. We learn each and every time. Like I mentioned, ecotourism Kenya, responsible tourism Tanzania. When they come and do our audits, we're also continuously learning how to improve, and also our own continuous evaluation of our own practices. The one that I was mentioning, like the ESMS, understanding what policies work, what doesn't work, what needs to be amended. That's all ways of how we continuously try to improve. A key aspect that actually we're looking at now implementing is our Sustainability Champions program, because we understand that, as Nabila was saying, we are a small department, but now if we instill the land and life values and teach on all these sustainability practices through sustainability champions across our units, we'll be able to oversee and monitor this implementation across each unit better, and have more accountability for any progress. Just before I'm going to take you to the Shangam video, we actually came to a conclusion. So I'm just going to read it out for you, that navigating sustainability across a diverse family of brands isn't without challenges. But by working and learning together, we turn these. And what we've learned is that as a group, our collective impact is far greater than the sum of our parts. And it is this shared commitment that allows us to protect our environment, our communities, and create a legacy of responsible tourism. And with that note, I'm going to share a video on Shanga, which is what we're particularly proud of.
What if discarded items with what they like? What if challenges became strength and limitations became possibility? At Shanga, Spaces transformed into beauty and lives transformed with it.
Increase the volume.
Maybe fix that. It's not communicating.
Future. Shaka began in 2007 around a kitchen table. Today, Chandra is home to 67%, many dead or people living with disabilities. More than a workplace, we are a family. Every piece of Chandra carries a story. Bottles and glassware, window panes lifted to beads, and fabric scraps stitched into something new. Chandra is proof that business can be kind. By empowering artisans with disabilities, we give more than dreams. We create independence, self-worth, and hope. By recycling what others throw away, we protect the earth that we share.
Kwa jina naitwa Tumaini Kevin Moon. Nafanya kazi ya ushindani. Shanga niliyopitia mrafiki au tulisoma nao chuo cha walemavu wenyewe walikuwa wameshaanza. Shanga inanisaidia mtoto. Nimejenga kupitia shanga. Napata mahitaji yangu ya kujikimu kupitia shanga. Kwa kweli shanga ilikuwa msaada mkubwa sana.
When you step into Chandra, you don't just see craftsmanship, you see resilience, you see creativity rising above challenge, and you see the unbreakable spirit of people that believe in possibility. In Swahili, Chandra means ease. For us, it means connection, threads of creativity, passion, and courage woven together. I invite you to visit our workshop, meet the artisans, and carry a piece of our story with you.
Wakaribisha watu waje kuona shanga, waje kuona vitu ambavyo tunatengeneza, waje watupatie wateja.
Apologies, Sorry, I think we are having technical difficulties about lagging. But I think that's the end of our presentation. Ready, we can hand back to you.
Thank you very much for that entire courageous presentation. It takes a lot of courage to be able to come out and share what you do. It also takes a lot of courage to share your challenges, and to know that it is a journey that you are still on, and a journey that you are committed to, one step at a time. Like I said at the beginning, um, every organization, wherever it is, has an opportunity to move forward in its sustainability journey. And you have shared with us your journey very boldly and very courageously. And I think for me, as a curator of sustainability systems and as a person who is keenly interested in true sustainability, I am inspired and I am encouraged by the work that you do. If you could share that a link to that video, maybe many of us can watch it later and can spread the word, because it's extremely inspiring. What you're doing with the Shanga project, and hearing the testimonies and even the volumes of trade. You know, I always say that when a company is bold enough to declare its volume of trade generated with the community, then that company has gone beyond the emergence stages of sustainability, and it's at the highest level of awakening. They're actually at the level of shared values. They are no longer afraid to share what they're saying. But if you just vaguely say that we work with communities and we have this Shanga project and it's benefiting communities, and you're not courageous enough to share the numbers and say what the volume is, here you have shared the numbers with us. And for me, that is a testament of a level of accountability to society. I know you've been to our sessions and seminars and trainings, and you know how I talk passionately about accountability to society. When you come to a point where you are able to share your work and your progress and your numbers, then you have come to the point of being accountable to society and not just making vague statements. So thank you so much for sharing with us how you have navigated sustainability across such a complex group. Yours is even more complex. The brands are different. The countries are different. The communities are completely different. And there's this one organization that is trying to set the metrics and set minimum standards across the board. You cannot do that if you're not committed. So thank you for the lessons. And I think you've got practices that many other tourism companies and businesses that are involved, those who are even struggling with one unit, right? Those who are struggling with one unit should be challenged that it is possible to even do it across units. I had asked earlier on the chat for people to share what their profound lessons have been. I have already shared mine, to share what other profound lessons they have had. And if there are any questions, then they can also be posted on the chat. I know you have answered a number of questions that had been asked earlier on, but if you're here, you had asked a question, or you'd like to ask a question to Nabila and Shalini about the work that they do and how they navigate sustainability across a chain of lodges, this is your opportunity to ask your questions. You have your opportunity to ask your questions. We still have a few minutes left in our hands for us to engage in questions and answers. I have seen people join from Rwanda. Thank you for coming, Greg. I have seen somebody from Tanzania. Thank you for coming, Sola, right? To be part of this today. Thank you. Some of the collaborators we work with, Amboseli Institute, you're here. I think there are lessons for your students. There are many students that are here. Alois from Boma International, thank you for being here. And all of you, I've seen many of our young change makers also join us today. I've seen Let's Go Travel and many other people who are here today. But we're also glad that through the recordings, many more will get to hear of these valuable practices from SOPA lodges and Elewana collection and what you're doing in this space. Do I have anybody? I have a question. Earlier on, you mentioned carbon footprint monitoring. How does that go about in your operations? Right, there's a question, Shalini and Nabila, on carbon footprint monitoring.
All right, I see that's from Stacy. Thanks for that question, Stacy. So for us, we had to first understand across our group what exactly are our scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. And of course, scope 1 being the direct fuel usages, scope 2 being any of our units that will be connected to the national grid. And scope 3 was the hardest to define because scope 3, you can easily go down a rabbit hole, which is your indirect emissions, often associated with external parties. So for us, we defined it as any freight that we may have imported for any of our units. That would be a type of scope 3 emission. And we defined official staff travels. That's not when staff go on their leaves or anything, but it's for any official duties. We define that as our scope 3 emissions. But to go back on scope 1, we looked at all of our properties and including our travel and tour operator, including our air charter service, and all of our ancillary departments, our workshops, our central stores, our head offices. What are the common fuels that are used across? And of course, you have your common ones like diesel, petrol, some use kerosene. Of course, the air charter uses jet fuel. So what we did is we listed all of these type of fuels and made one template, one standard template that would be easy for us to oversee and easy for us to monitor and of course analyze into our monthly, quarterly, and annual reports. So each of our units fills in this data every month. Basically, they're filling in their consumption. If it's diesel, how much diesel went into the generators that month? How much diesel went into the vehicles that month? From our central stores, how much diesel went into the truck supplying that property per month? So from all of this data, we now look at we look at the DEFRA emission factors to be able to calculate our carbon footprint. And from there, we do our monthly, quarterly, and annual analysis. I hope that answered your question, Stacey.
Yes, Stacey, you can tell us if that has answered your question, but I think that was very, very clear. Yes, it is well understood now. Thank you, Stacey. Do I have any other questions? Do I have, as they ask, as I wait for the next question, Shalini and Nabila, I just want to, maybe if you have any comments on the role of technology, right? The role of technology in advancing and making your work more efficient. If you could just make a comment on that. Is technology key for navigating sustainability across a group of lodges?
Yeah, I think actually there is a very important role for technology to play, whether that's, anything from putting in water submeters to measure that, how we look at our solar power usage, everything down to how we collect community statistics. We've recently powered with Bowtree for helping us to put an app together to share with all our lodges where they can immediately enter data in real time, whether they have signal or not. I think there's a very clear role for technology. We are a little bit older than the Gen Z generation, so we struggle a little bit, as you could see with our Zoom call here. But there's a very real use and real value to using technology in multiple units. Shalini, I don't know if you want to add anything.
I mean, no, I think you covered most of it. There's no running away from technology, but one, like how Nabila has mentioned, we should use it to our own advantage. I was mentioning earlier that our whole entire group runs on Google Drive. That's technology. And that's actually allowed us to be able to share data in real time, do analysis in real time, as compared to maybe a very long time ago where everything was more manual and it would take longer to receive such data. We, like Nabila's mentioned, we've recently partnered with Boutry, who are actually very kind enough to meet our needs with our very diverse group, to be able to make us our own app, so that all of our units can now put in their data in real time, even it being like a community outreach program. They'll be able to enter that data in real time, rather than us as the Land and Life Foundation team having to go to each site each time to be able to enter such. So yeah, we do embrace technology slowly, maybe, but we are embracing it.
I am glad that you say that, because I know that verifiable digital records have become very important today in making sustainability claims. If you're making sustainability claims without verifiable records, it leaves room for your claims to be challenged. And this is why technology is becoming very, very important for sustainability. In the beginning, we all thought, no, maybe not. But today, because of that need for verification and the error that is removed by technology, by removing the human interactions in collection of data and even analysis of that data, not just its collection, it's becoming more and more important. One, for real time, and two, that it can be verifiable, because it's not been generated with a lot of, it's removed the human error in it. So this is another direction that sustainability must begin to think about very seriously. That as much as possible, wherever you can, embrace technology, right? Embrace technology in data collection and in data analysis, so that you have records that can be verified using a system. And I'm glad that this is a positive outcome of SAS 2025, that you're working with Boutry. I'm excited to hear that you are working with Boutry, because we like to connect people, connect ideas, connect minds, so that we can advance sustainability. And this connection is very important, because even the system itself that you use, when we say we have like you have your ESMS dashboard that you're using today, if it is aligned to another system that gives it more credibility, that it becomes a verified system, then that also adds to the credibility of the sustainability claims that you make as an organization, because they are backed by a system. So yeah, technology is becoming very, very important. We are coming to a close. I do not want to leave anybody out of this very valuable discussion that we have had today. Inspiring way to have the rest of our week, and for all those who may have had doubts that really, does it work? Does it make sense? Right? Judy, I have a question. Yes. What platforms or forums exist for the community to voice their concerns? Okay, that's a question. I believe you're talking about the communities that are supported and work with the SOPA group of lodges, right? Yeah. James is asking to voice their concerns or ideas on sustainability. James, clarify for me, is this a general question, or is this a question on the presentation on how the SOPA group of lodges and Land and Life are navigating this? James, you can unmute and ask if you can to clarify. Maybe James is not able to talk, but from your angle, from your interpretation, Shalini or Nabila, would you take on that one?
Sure. So for us, our teams on the ground, whether it's our lodge managers, whoever it is from the staff, our first point of call is we try and employ as many people as we can from the communities surrounding our property. That is always our first and primary goal, to provide employment for those communities. And whether that goes through some kind of internship, training, mentorship program, that is one of our key principles we will always employ from the community. So we have an idea as well of any issues that are going to arise or any issues that the community are facing. The other thing is we build, despite having people from the community working in the lodge, we also try and build very close relationships. So the lodge managers, whoever it might be, build very close relationships with our surrounding communities and have a very open door policy. So whether if there is a situation where, for example, somebody in the community is sick and they need to get to a clinic, our teams will always provide a vehicle to take them to the clinic. In another one of our lodges, we have a small women's boma near our property. We have a daily interaction with them. We drive them to town to buy products, whether it's food or items for their beading. It's inherent in all the work we do. We develop a very strong relationship with the community before we do anything. And I'm hoping that gives them the voice to bring their concerns, raise any issues they're facing. Yeah, and like I said, it's 23 properties. We have had situations where the community will come to say, we're in a drought situation, we don't have enough food, and we will see what we can do. Or we're in a situation where not enough of our staff are being employed. 100%, we will look at that and see what we can do. We are currently, one of our properties in the Mara North, the Eliwana Elephant Pepper Camp, we are building a small camp next to. We have multiple stakeholder engagements, multiple meetings with people that we're employing, casual labor, whatever it might be. And again, from there, we will employ the predominant amount of our staff. So I hope that answers your question, James. I don't know if there was anything that I didn't cover.
Thank you for covering it from the Eliwana perspective and how you conduct. James says very clear. Yeah, thank you so much, James, for your
I just wanted to
thank
add,
you, Sola, for that comment.
Judy, I just wanted to add, we are SOPA, we are Eliwana, we are Explorer, we're Kelly and Peacock, whatever we are, we speak with the same voice. So the same ethics and principles and ethos that we have at SOPA will be the same across all our groups. So we keep that open conversation going with the community and that relationship across all our properties, no matter what.
Great, thank you. And James, if you needed just a general information of how communities organize themselves to voice their concerns or raise ideas around sustainability, or even organize themselves to become part of the tourism value chain, directly or indirectly, it starts with communities organizing into a structure and form that can negotiate, that can engage with tourism industry, or with an investor directly, or with governments, or with other agencies, even like STTA. You see, if a community has a form and a structure, it can come to STTA and say to STTA, please come and hold a training for us, an induction on how to get started with sustainability. What issues should we be thinking about? Yeah, what should we pay attention to when we go into partnerships and all those kind of things? So it starts with the group being organized, and then the forums and whatever exist in many different forms through government agencies provide forums, tourism organizations provide forums, tourism has associations like the Association of Operators of Hotel Keepers. At conservancy levels, conservancies are organized into a company. They either have a landowners company, and that is the forum and the platform that they use to voice anything that they want to share around sustainability with the operators within that conservancy. So the first and foremost important thing is that the community needs to be organized in a way that they can engage. When they're organized, the forums are there. They exist in those many ways I've said, in private sector organizations, public sector institutions, other supporting organizations, meetings that happen regularly, what we call public participation forums, like the ones that KWS has been holding recently on increasing park fees and all that. So the forums exist, right? Once you are organized, you will become part of the community. And when you're part of the community, you will be able to know which forums exist. Thank you for that question. Thank you, Sham, for that comment. Hope many more follow in your footsteps. Yes, we do hope that many more can follow in the footsteps of what this complex. It's one of the, for me, one of the most complex group sustainability program. Yeah, you find in many cases it's the same brand, it's the same lodges and all those kind of things, and they're all, if they're all small, they're all small, they're all luxury, they're all in the bush, those kind of things, right? But yeah, you've got the Lewana collection, and you've got the SOPA, you've got the big lodges, you've got the small lodges, you've got the boutique ones, you've got everything in there. Plus, you've got an airline, your own. It makes it complex.
Got all the ancillary support
it's a good
services.
case. Yeah, and it's I'm just saying, it's a wonderful case study if anyone wants to learn how to navigate sustainability across a broad chain. Maybe we should not have just said lodges. We should have just said across a broad chain of tourism operations, which includes tour operations, lodges, airline activities, and everything. But thank you very much again for engaging. I see that we do not have any more questions that are coming. I wanted to make a summary, but I don't think I can have a better summary than what Sola has said in the chat. Sometimes you allow others to also summarize. And Sola has said sustainability is a lifelong journey with long-term perspective, constant adaptation, innovation, and an untiring willingness to embed sustainable practices into every aspect of your system. I think he said it very well. Yeah, it's a continuous, exactly the same things we had said at the beginning. Having said that, I want to thank everyone for coming. Thank you for being participants. I hope you have takeaway lessons to wherever you are and where you're working. Dominic and team will share this on our YouTube page, and it will be available. We have documented London life and your practices for posterity. It will always be there. People will be able to see it, relate with it, and learn from it. So you can document and say that we, in 2025, we shared knowledge in the following platforms. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. I'm sorry I did not show my face today. Like I said, I arrived at 2 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, but I'm glad I was able to join this conversation today. Thanks, everyone. Dominic, over to you to close for us.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I think everything has been said. I have learned. I want to hope that everyone else has learned. Of course, we just to mention that we have these webinars each and every month. So we're also going to have another one in October. So be on the lookout for that. Also to mention that we have another opportunity coming up. We have a magazine, which is called Sustainable Tourism Report. In case you'd like to be featured in it, kindly let us know. We are looking for feature stories, case studies, thought leadership pieces, youth voice. We have a youth voice column, destination spotlight. We're also looking for articles on green skills and innovation. So just in case you'd like to contribute, I think Nabila, your case on Shanga, that would be a very good feature story. So
100%.
feel free to share with us that article. The deadline for submission is on 17th of October. So that is the deadline for submission. An article should be around 1,000 words. That's the minimum amount of words that you can use. So just to make sure that you've covered everything in that article. Also to mention that we will be in the Magical Kenya Expo on Thursday. So in case you'd like to, to interact with us, all of us will be there. In case you're just about to start with your sustainability journey or you don't know where exactly to start, kindly link with us. We'll be there at Magical Kenya Travel Expo on Thursday. Without going further from the details, I would like to ask each and every one of us to, we want to see you, take a picture, a screenshot for that, just to document that we had this webinar. So put your best smile. We would like to see you. Asante sana, Alois. Thank you, Judy. I know, I know with your safari, you might be a little bit tired. We'd like to see you. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Joseph. I can see you.
Judy, you can't tell that you've just come off a plane at all.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you for joining us. I came off a plane
at 2 in the morning.
Wow.
Thank you, Sarah. Anyone else? I don't want to leave anyone behind in this moment of fame. So, okay, so we'll go with those ones. Thank you so much, guys. As your cameraman, I can see all of you are smiling. Thank you. Thank you. Asanteni sana. Thank you so much for finding time for this webinar. We are going to share with you the recording via email and also for the next webinar, which will happen in October. And of course, remember all those opportunities to meet us, as well as sharing information on sustainability. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thanks.